Lagos, the nation's commercial capital. This is the News at 10. Live from Channels Television. Reporting tonight, Ayotunde Balogun. Hello and welcome. Tonight, act now to avert disaster. The National Emergency Management Agency warns states on the banks of the rivers Niger and Benue following rapid release of water from the Lagdo Dam in the Republic of Cameroon. A day after vowing not to drop his forgery allegation against the president, the PDP presidential candidate, Atiku Abubakar, applies to file fresh evidence in the case at the Supreme Court. 5 people killed and some others injured after bandits attacked Ungwan Dangali community in Zaria local government area of Edo State. Police rescue all 7 persons kidnapped during the attack. And hundreds of people killed after Hamas launched a surprise air and ground attack on Israel. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu says his country is at war.
And on business news tonight, the local bourse closes the week positive, up 0.11% as bargain hunting dominates trading.
On sports news tonight, Max Verstappen clinches his 3rd successive Formula One title after his nearest championship rival and Red Bull teammate Sergio Perez crashed out of the sprint race at the Qatar Grand Prix.
Residents of states along the banks of the rivers Niger and rivers Benue may have to be on the alert to avert disaster arising from an impending flooding owing to the rapid release of water from the Lagdo Dam in the Republic of Cameroon. This warning is coming from the National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA, which has raised the alarm over increasing flooding on the banks of both rivers as a result of the huge volume of water from the Lagdo Dam. The Director General of NEMA, Mr. Mustafa Ahmed, who was speaking at the National Emergency Coordination Forum meeting in Abuja, called on the affected states to urgently activate their emergency response plans.
The agency has been alerted on the sudden increased inundation of riparian communities and farmlands along the banks of River Niger in Adamawa, Taraba, and Benue states in the past 48 hours. The sudden situation is attributed to the rapid release of waters from Lagdo Dam in the Republic of Cameroon and has resulted in the displacement of several inhabitants of the affected communities. Furthermore, croplands and vulnerable infrastructure are at risk of getting washed away by floodwaters. Situation report from Adamawa State confirms the upsurge of floodwaters along the floodplains of River Benue. The situation is expected to be replicated in downstream states of Taraba, Benue, Nasarawa, Kogi, Anambra, Edo, Delta, and Bayelsa states. As a result of the unfolding situation, I want to use this opportunity to alert authorities of state and local government along River Niger's and Benue Basin areas to immediately activate their emergency response plans to avoid potential damage and losses that will arise due to inundation of community by floodwaters. Furthermore, we're expecting to receive updates from the Nigeria Hydrological Services Agency, NIMET, NEMA Operations Office in Yola, Adamawa State, and from state emergency management agencies of the frontline states to keep on updating you on the situation as it unfolds. I wish to update you on the NEMA Situation Room dashboard, which indicates that this year's flood scenario has affected 159,157 persons, resulted in the loss of 28 persons, and the displacement of 48,168 individuals in 13 states across Nigeria.
To legal matters, the presidential candidate of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, Atiku Abubakar, has applied for leave of the Supreme Court to file what he termed as fresh evidence. In a motion he filed through his team of lawyers, Mr. Abubakar said the evidence he is seeking to tender before the Apex Court will establish his allegation that the president submitted forged documents to the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, in aid of his qualification to participate in the presidential election that held on February the 25th this year. The former vice president maintains that President Bola Tinubu, by his action, committed a twin offense of forgery and perjury and therefore deserved to be removed from office by the Supreme Court. Mr. Atiku specifically sought the leave of the court to tender President Tinubu's academic records, which he said were handed over to him by the Chicago State University on October the 2nd this year. Though the application was dated October the 5th, Mr. Abubakar's legal team perfected the filing process on Friday night. The Supreme Court is yet to fix a date for the motion to be heard. To security matters in Edo State, at least 5 people have been killed and some others injured after bandits attacked Ungwandangali community in Zaria local government area. The acting spokesperson of the Edo State Police Command, ASP Manir Hassan, told Channels Television that the attack happened at about 11 p.m. on Friday night when the bandits in their large numbers stormed the community and started shooting sporadically. He explains 5 people who were sitting outside their houses during the attack were killed instantly, while 7 women were abducted by the bandits. He said on getting a distress call, the police immediately went after the bandits and rescued all the 7 persons in the early hours of today, while one of the bandits was arrested. Meanwhile, the Edo State Police Command says it has arrested 10 suspected kidnappers during different operations in various parts of the state between September and October the 3rd this year. Meanwhile, the Joint Security Forces in Anambra State has raided an insurgents camp at Ubunka in Urumba South local government area and rescued 3 abducted persons, including a reverend father. In a statement, the police spokesperson in the state, DSP Tochukwu Ikenga, explained that the police led forward operating base comprising operatives of the military and paramilitary services based in Agwata and supported by Police Rapid Response Squad Okuzu, also arrested 3 suspects in the operation. 9 vehicles, 3 pump-action guns, stolen camouflage, uniforms, Biafra flag, several handsets, flash drives, and SIM cards were among items said to have been recovered from the camp. According to the police, the gang was responsible for recent abductions in Urumba North and South, as well as parts of Agwata Council, adding that the freed victims were all kidnapped this month. The police spokesperson further explained that the raid on the insurgents camp followed months of diligent and painstaking intelligence gathering and investigation and was coordinated by the Commissioner of Police, Mr. Adiremi Adioye. The management of the Nigeria Railway Corporation has been reacting to the ticket racketeering scandal in its rail operations. Some staff of the NRC are alleged to be involved in fraudulent dealings, collecting cash from passengers without remitting same to the government, as well as ticket racketeering. But speaking to journalists at the Obafemi Awolowo station in Ibadan, the managing director of the NRC, Mr. Fidet Ohiria, said 9 members of staff involved in the fraudulent practice have been suspended.
Recently, reports of ticket racketeering and sharp practices by some members of staff of the Nigeria Railway Corporation have been making the round, and the managing director of the corporation, Mr. Fidet Ohira, and his team have taken it upon themselves to see things as they unfold. To this end, the team visited the Obafemi Awolowo train station in Ibadan, the Oyo State capital, for an on-the-spot assessment of the situation.
It's an offense to carry an intended passenger inside the train without having tickets. And we have made that arrangement that we have staff, as you have noticed, to check the tickets before they get to the departure hall, and also check the ticket before they can get to the platform to board the train. Which means there is a ring that allows some people without ticket to pass into the departure hall and again pass to the terminal to board the train, so to the platform to board the train. So I just came here to ensure that, to remind them that anybody caught will not be spared, and to ensure that we do the right thing at the right time.
On On the issue of ticket racketeering, the NRC boss admits that it's indeed true and explains how the corporation plans to deal with it.
The is true. Maybe if we have time, our cameras on the train captured it, not just what the video sent, because every week we download what happened on the train. But we are finding a way to overcome this, and that is the electronic ticketing, which we have been able to secure. And the people are working seriously to ensure that by 26th of this month, they'll be able to deploy it.
Another member of the team, Jerry Oche, sheds more light on measures put in place to check incidents of sharp practices by staff of the corporation.
What we're looking at here is the CCTV for this coach. But apart from this coach, I can also check every other coaches that are on this train from here if I want to. All I need to do is query it. I go to the data I want to, I pick it, and I'll see every event that has happened. As a matter of fact, I can pick the time I want to watch.
Some of the passengers also weighed in on the matter.
I don't know why from day one, why the service was not digital. People can buy the tickets online, and with that one, you can even reduce the risk of people even being tempting to do whatever.
They have to improve on ticketing because it's time for them to go on electronic ticketing because to avoid some of their staff fraudulent practices.
The NRC management urges members of the public to always insist on collecting their tickets at all times and not allow any staff member take them for a ride.
To politics and the November off-cycle governorship election in Bayelsa State, where Governor Doye Diri is challenging residents of Nimbe not to allow anyone prevent them from exercising their franchise in the state. Governor Diri told the large crowd of party members and supporters at the King Koko Square in Nimbe that he was glad to return to campaign peacefully in the community where he was denied access by gunmen who attacked his campaign team in 2019.
It's a large gathering of people in Nimbe community for a rally to drum up support for the PDP ahead of the November 11th governorship elections in Bayelsa State. The immediate past Deputy Governor of Bayelsa State, Rear Admiral John Jonah, insists that Governor Diri stands a better chance to win votes in Nimbe.
They said blood is thicker than water. That blood is the person that can assist you, not just because he has come out from a mother's womb. Even those that come from mother's womb can stab you. There are those that don't come from mother's womb that can assist you. I see to my right two gentlemen that can stand by us at all times.
Governor Diri addresses the people, saying that he's excited to be back in a peaceful environment devoid of crisis.
All this one they are talking, they are deceiving us. We don't want to be deceived again. And don't be afraid, nobody will come and, well, of course you know, nobody will come to Nimbe and say you will not vote. But it can never happen. Like they said, never has never been defeated. Nobody can come and defeat you here. So some people have seen where there is light. And as I keep saying, when light comes, darkness will give way.
In spite of the various projects reeled out by the administration of Governor Diri, including the Nimbe Unity Bridge and the Nimbe Brass Road, the governor promises to do more if elected for another term in office.
Well, we'll have more on politics when we come back. But in part two, after the break, a Lagos State Building Control Agency gets set to demolish all illegal structures and shanties in Etiosa local government area of Lagos State. Please join us again.
Come with me. Bask in freedom. There are no deadlines here. Hurry so you can take your time. The sunset from above. A visual buffet. Pictures capture moments. 100 conversations don't exhaust the tale of your new favorite filter. The salt of the sea warm on your dark skin.
I'd love to come back here. A truly immersive experience is our reality. South Africa invites you to summer with us. Create your own story with customizable experiences now. Visit southafrica.net. It's never too late to summer in SA.
My skin is my identity, my strength. It's unique and deserves care made specially for me. New Nivea Radiant and Beauty Even Glow, enriched with 95% pure vitamin C and pulp extract. For visibly radiant and even-toned skin in just 2 weeks. New Nivea Radiant and Beauty Even Glow, for your shade of beautiful.
The Federal Ministry of Health, through the National Primary Healthcare Development Agency, in collaboration with partners, are commencing vaccination of girls aged 9 to 14 years with HPV vaccine to protect them against cervical cancer. It is estimated that Nigeria records more than 12,000 new cases of cervical cancer, with about 8,000 deaths every year. It is the second most common cause of cancer deaths among women, but the good news is cervical cancer can be prevented with vaccination. In line with global cervical cancer elimination strategy of vaccination, screening, early diagnosis, and treatment, the HPV vaccine, which prevents against cervical cancer, will be administered to girls aged 9 to 14 years in schools, communities, and all primary health care facilities from 24th October 2023. Protect our girls against cervical cancer and other HPV-related diseases by vaccination with HPV vaccine. HPV vaccine and all other vaccines are free, safe, and effective. Women of reproductive age and above are encouraged to go for screening. For further inquiries, call the following NPHCDA toll-free number, 7722. This message is from the National Primary Healthcare Development Agency with support from partners.
Welcome back. If you just joined us, you're watching the News at 10 coming to you live from Channels Television. A reminder of our top stories. Act now to avert disaster. The National Emergency Management Agency warns states on the banks of the rivers Niger and Benue following rapid release of water from the Lagdo Dam in the Republic of Cameroon. A day after vowing not to drop his forgery allegation against the president, PDP presidential candidate Atiku Abubakar applies to file fresh evidence in the case at the Supreme Court. 5 people killed and some others injured after bandits attacked Ungwa Dangali community in Zaria local government area of Edo State. Police rescue all 7 persons kidnapped during the attack. And hundreds of people killed after Hamas launched a surprise air and ground attack on Israel. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu says his country is at war. Kogi is another state where the off-cycle governorship election will take place in November this year. And ahead of that exercise, a group of the Coalition for Credible Election are appealing to all candidates to eschew violence in the overall interest of the state. The group held a rally today in the nation's capital, Abuja, where they called for a peaceful election following the death of a party supporter in the Kotin Karfe area of the state during a recent political campaign. The coordinator of the coalition, Mr. Israel Abiodun, urged the Inspector General of Police to find the troublemakers in the state.
We hereby proceed on a peaceful peace walk round this place to convey our message to all that matters, that we want peace in Kogi State, and for Kogi November election, there must be peace. So our slogan is simply this: we want peace.
Meanwhile, the General Officer Commanding 2 Division of the Nigerian Army, Major General Bamidele Alabi, is urging the personnel of the 12th Brigade to ensure the highest level of professionalism in the November 11 governorship poll in Kogi State. Major General Alabi gave the charge when he visited the officers at the Chari Maigumeri barracks in Lokoja, the state capital. He asked the officers to exhibit high level of neutrality and discipline before, during, and after the poll. In a bid to compel compliance in the building industry, the Lagos State government, through the Lagos State Building Control Agency, is set to demolish all illegal structures and shanties at Ogombo in Etiosa local government area of Lagos State. According to the General Manager LAPSCA, Mr. Gbola Oki, the illegal structures in the area were built on government land by the developers who acquired land illegally with total disregard to the state building code. He was speaking to journalists at the agency's headquarters in Ikeja.
The law says that if you want to buy a land, you have what we call the search. You have the agent that you mean that you need a land. And for you to buy a land before putting your money down, there are some search that you need to do, which is meant to be done by legal people that are doing the agreement. Because Lagos State government has one of the best land registry archive, that even property that was bought in the last 10, 20 years, you can have the document. And it doesn't cost anybody that is calling himself a lawyer that wants to do an agreement. It doesn't cost the person anything to go to Lagos State Land Bureau to check for the status of the property. And if they have done the due diligence, definitely the legal person that did the agreement knows that that land has been acquired by Lagos State government, or that land has been given a C of O. But the next thing you see is that people just turn deaf ear, and they will be coming with agreement done by lawyers to this office. And Lagos State Building Control is not going to take an exception for anybody. If you must buy land, go and do the due diligence. Go and do the search. Get the right professionals, lawyers, to look at it and give you the right information.
There is a growing concern about the state of security in the Federal Capital Territory. From acts of terrorism to kidnapping, farmer herders crisis, armed robbery, and the notorious one-chance operation, residents have reported cases of security breaches in their neighborhood. In this next report, our correspondent, Gloria Umezioke, examines the security situation in the nation's capital.
Distressed and helpless, Miss Saudat Iliya wore a blank expression on her face, clutching her 2-year-old baby and staring into the distance as she recalls September 12, 2023, the day suspected herdsmen shot her late husband, who was also a vigilante on his farm in Dobi, Gwagwalada Area Council of Abuja.
He was in his farm. So Fulani now started into his farm, destroying his farm, this thing. So when he complained, that is where the problem starts. They even attack him in the front of army men. Up to now, as I'm talking to you, these same Fulani are not giving us peace. They are not ready for peace, and we did not hear anything from the government since then.
This experience is not exclusive to the late Iliya.
This one happened. It happened to me before they killed Iliya. He pursued them one of their steps by the bush. Before I know, the Fulani cut out my head with a cutlass.
Widespread insecurity, including the protracted clashes between farmers and herders, kidnapping, banditry, and armed robbery, has over time elevated the risk of impromptu attacks on residents in the nation's capital. Usman Mohammed, a youth representative in Gwagwalada, recounts other experiences and the accompanying trauma on residents.
I think on 19, there was issue of kidnapping in Gaube ward. The same thing in Buhari, we also have that issue of bad kidnapping up till now in Kau ward, Sabon Kau, and other community around Buhari, which from the main legit source, those people are seriously in danger. Let the minister try to come down to the local government and think, even though you set a committee and different ward from different local government on these security issues, our farm are there. We cannot be able to go. You go to the town, it's a problem. You come back home, it's a problem.
When Channels Television visited the chairman of the Abuja Municipal Area Council, Mr. Christopher Mekalangu, he says the government is not oblivious of the various tales of wars.
We need a military presence. We need more police outposts. Like if you go to places like Burum, if you had Burum, it's in Abuja Municipal Area Council, Burum, Takalafia, Gidankwanu. These are places that share boundary with Kuje. But if you go to that axis, you will never see any police station. I've told all the community leaders that, see, you don't need to go and be sleeping thinking that Nigerian police will do everything. No, you should be your own security.
Only 2 weeks ago, the chairman of the Kwali Area Council, flanked by his colleagues in a meeting with the FCT minister, Mr. Nyesom Wike, raised an alarm over 19 persons who were kidnapped across the 6 area councils.
You know what I mean by 19 people in a local government, you know what they're talking about. So it's a serious issue that had to call the security emergency meeting.
In the last 2 weeks, Mrs. Gift Omegara, another armed robbery victim, has been trying to come to terms with her ordeal. In a chat, she tells me she wants the government to do more to fight insecurity.
We saw a barricade, with big woods across the roads. Then we saw a number of persons by the sides, like over 20 people. So I was thinking maybe they just set up a vigilante because I've never seen it before. They just came, surrounded the car, opened the door, brought the driver down, started, stabbed him on the head, started bleeding. So I was just putting one-on-one last week when I heard of the incident that was rushed to Maitama Hospital and they say they needed the police extract. Because what if they never attended to my driver? That is how he would have died too. And what would I have told his family? So that is what I'm saying, that government should try, and put in security measures and then speak to the health sector to try and do something better.
Luckily, while Mrs. Omegara escaped, Miss Greatness Olorunfemi, a victim of one chance operators, was not so lucky. Her untimely death occurred after she was thrown out of a moving vehicle and was reportedly denied treatment at the Maitama General Hospital.
First of all, it should be administered in the hospital. Then other processes can follow. Kidnapping is becoming a business in society in the sense that it is open that when you kidnap, they will take you to police station. Tomorrow they take you to court. Before you know, you are back to society. But we will make it a strong warning, and we have laws that said if you kidnap, you are dead. I'm telling you, everybody will stop.
As investigations are still ongoing on the matter, the activities of one-chance operators continue to increase in Abuja.
You are all major stakeholders in this fight. We cannot defeat crime and criminality all alone. We require your support and your cooperation.
However, the FCT police is warning criminal elements to stay away from the nation's capital, as the Inspector General of Police has given the FCT Police Commissioner a mandate to flush them out. From Abuja, Gloria Umezuke, Channels Television News.
In Osun State, Governor Ademola Adeleke is assuring the people of the state that his administration will not abandon any project inherited from past administrations. While giving account of his stewardship so far, Governor Adeleke notes that his government has been prudent in the management of the state's resources. The governor stated this while addressing the gathering of the people at the maiden edition of the Public Accountability Meeting in Osogbo, the state capital.
Our people should be rest assured that this administration has not and will not borrow to fund ongoing infrastructure upgrades. From bridges to dualization of existing roads, among other infrastructures, we are pursuing value for money and public-private partnership. Our financial plan is sustainable by the grace of God. Active section. It is my pleasure to open this interactive section. I have my team here. We are prepared to take questions and policy suggestions.
To education matters, this time in Ogun State, where Governor Dapo Abiodun is poised to bridge the shortage in the teacher-pupil ratio in the state's public schools. He has announced the absorption of 1,000 of the 2,000 Ogun teacher intern members and the recruitment of another 2,000 interns, while promising more reforms in the education sector. He made this known during the 2023 Teacher Day celebration held at the Obas complex in Abuja, the state capital.
This
This is an activity to mark this year's Teachers' Day celebration in Oben State. Just as teachers in both the public primary and secondary schools from the 3 senatorial districts of the state are gathered at the Obas complex in Okemoson, Abeokuta, the state capital. During the event, Governor Dakwa Abiodun announces the approval and immediate employment of about 3,000 Ogun Teach interns into the state teaching service. For the governor, the appointment of the new teachers take immediate effect. The governor adds that the administration is doing everything possible to improve the lots of teachers.
Approve the engagement of 1,000 Ogun Teach who have distinguished themselves during the 2-year probationary period as permanent teachers and full employment. By the same token, I hereby today approve the engagement for another 2,000 interns, bringing to a total 4,000 interns that we engaged in the last 4 years.
The theme for this year is the teachers we need for education. We want the global imperative to reverse teachers' shortage.
To use this year's World Teachers' Day.
The teachers, in their requests for better teaching and learning experience, are calling for urgent policy redirection to reduce numbers of out-of-school pupils in the state.
The state is working assiduously to drastically reduce the number of out-of-school children. Then every bottleneck that impede pupils, student enrollment must be refilled. Attendance in our schools is dwindling, despite the fact that students are gradually withdrawing from private schools. Therefore, access to Learners Identification Number, LIN, should be stressless.
The teachers also seized the opportunity to commend the governor for his many interventions in the area of welfare packages.
It is unprecedented in the history of Ogun State for a governor to do this within 4 years to implement 12 years of promotion. Please, a round of applause for our darling governor of Ogun State.
Part of the celebration is the presentation of letter of allocation of a 2-bedroom bungalow to one of the teachers in the state, Mr. Akim Badru, who was the first African to win the prestigious Cambridge Dedicated Teacher Award.
Meanwhile, in Edo State, a young man whose pursuit of formal education was interrupted in 2012 as a result of Boko Haram insurgency has graduated with a first class in chemical engineering with a CGPA of 4.80. Amos Ishaku found refuge at the Home for the Needy Foundation, where, with the encouragement and support of the camp's coordinator, sat for the SSC 7 times and JAMB 3 times before he passed and gained admission into the Edo State University. Our correspondent Jessica Olubose reports.
The Home for the Needy Foundation, Ohogwa, tucks away in the outskirts of Benin City, the Edo State capital, for the over 3,000 vulnerable persons here whom life has dealt varying degrees of tragic blows, is a name synonymous with refuge. Amos Ishaku, one of the inhabitants of the home, found succor here in 2014, 2 years after the Boko Haram insurgency in 2012 left him displaced, without shelter or food, and for some time separated from family. He said to have been in SS2 at the Federal Science and Technical College, FSTC, Lassa, Borno State, at a time when the insurgency put paid to his dream of acquiring education. That story has changed now, as Amos is a fresh graduate with a first-class honors degree in chemical engineering from a renowned institution in the country, Edo State University, Uzairi.
So I handle all my notebooks.
At the moment, he's returned home to the camp, sharing this humble abode with other internally displaced young men, many of them graduates and undergraduates.
This is where we stay. Some of my brothers, they have gone to teach twice on my class, and this is where I sleep.
But the news of his success is generating pride in friends and well-wishers.
I am so impressed. Those children are brilliant. Very brilliant. Look at the condition they operated. There is no air condition there. But yet, in that atmosphere, they were able to read and pass and come out with first class.
Amos is prompt to carrying out assignments. You give him assignments, and then you give him a time frame. He delivers within that time frame. So he's a team leader.
He's the type of person that no matter the time you come to him with a problem, he will always try his possible best to help you with a solution.
The coordinator of the center, Solomon Folorunsho's elation is akin to that of a proud father, even though the weight of caring for all the IDPs in his care remains far from lighter.
Some are lawyers, some are government lawyers, some are working in banks, and some are married, some have set up their business, and that's what we want to do with the others, so that they can get reintegrated back to the society, and they can become a blessing to the society. They can be useful and can even look down and see others and say, come, I was once like you, see who I am today.
Even now, the graduates and undergraduates among them went home for the holidays or weekends, teach the younger ones in school, as funds to employ more teachers are said to be scarce. Amos also joins in handling this responsibility. When asked to share his story, a major point for Amos is gratitude for the coordinator of the center, the man who refused to give up on him even when he failed to pass SSE 6 times and JAM twice.
This 500 level, that is when we write our final year, and it was the toughest and roughest time. Even because I did projects, it needed money to print projects. It needed money to even carry out the practical, because my own, because of engineering, I have to do experiment. So there were a lot of things that I needed.
He's concerned his dream could easily have been lost.
It was really a rough period, but I am very happy that now I am a graduate. My word to people is that those of them that help us, they should continue to help us. Because without them, I would have not been able to come to this point.
Feeding and meeting other basic needs remain a big challenge at the camp, but with news like that of Amos and the other 17 fresh graduates succeeding, in addition to those before them, keeps the foundation and these IDPs confident that the remaining chapters of their lives would certainly be brighter if they are remembered and invested in by anyone who cares, even just a little bit. Jessica Lugusere, Channels Television News.
To company news, in its drive to foster innovation, nurture young talent, and drive cross-generation digital conversation, WMA Bank has presented over 50 million naira to 3 young entrepreneurs who emerged winners at the bank's flagship event, Hackaholics Digital Summit 4.0. While making the presentation, Chief Executive Officer and Managing Director of WMA Bank, Maruf Oseni, also announced a cash reward for 3 Nigerian universities and 3 teachers. The summit was also a networking platform for innovators, disruptors, regulators, policymakers, investors, and customers in the digital technology space.
It's the grand finale of WMA Bank's Hackaholics 4.0, and the event is bringing together thousands of exceptional students, including innovators, change makers, industry luminaries, and tech enthusiasts from diverse sectors. MD and CEO of WMA Bank, Mr. Maruf Oseni, takes the stage, highlighting the company's unwavering vision.
We have built a robust open banking platform that can confidently power the fintech ecosystem in Nigeria today. We take pride in being the bank of choice for all the critical players in the industry. And this is not bragging. WMA Bank is unarguably the #1 bank to the fintechs in Nigeria today.
Before a breakout session, the keynote speaker salutes the bank's commitments to tech development, while a panel discussion unpacks the need to pioneer a transformational path and ecosystem via people, processes, and technology.
The top 10
The event then takes a different shape, with judges assessing the 10 finalists of WMA Bank's Hackaholics 4.0 pitch competition. But like in every contest, the winners are announced.
The winner of this year Hackaholics 4.0 for WMA Bank /Alert is Team Ireti.
The MD and CEO also announces a cash reward for 3 universities and teachers.
This award has been won by 3 universities today. Number 3 is Nile University with 5 million naira. Number 2, Afe Babalola University with 7 million naira. And number 1, Bangkok University with 10 million naira.
WMA is not just a bank. It's a 75-year-old fintech, in my opinion, with so many innovative leadership, across board.
Since the launch of Hackaholics in 2019, WMA Bank says the initiative has toured the 6 geopolitical zones in Nigeria, including 37 universities across Africa.
In other company news, there is an exciting development in the world of hairstyling education as Lush Hair Academy undergoes a transformation to become Lush Hair Professional School, offering everyone interested an enhanced learning experience. The coordinator of Lush Hair Professional School, Edith Okechukwu, says it's all part of the institution's growth plan.
This signals the formal transition of Lush Hair Academy to Lush Hair Professional School, a representation of growth, a bigger and more formidable brand.
I just want to say congratulations to Lush Hair for creating this amazing opportunity for people to actually empower themselves and learn some new skills.
So it's an exciting moment for influencers from the hair and beauty industry, hairstylists, as well as management of Lush Hair, who says it's a show of commitment to delivering industry-relevant education and staying up to date with the latest trends and hairstyling techniques.
So here we offer training for beginners or people with little or no knowledge of hair. So what we're doing here is that we make sure that we train them on everything they need to become professional hairstylists. So our training runs for a period of 3 months, 3 times in a week for beginners at a very low cost. Then for intermediates, we offer training for them twice in a week for a period of 3 months as well. Then for special course, it's just a 3-week short program.
The testimonials from graduates of the institution give an insight into what the school stands for.
Oh, but they blow my mind.
Hey, in one word, Lush Hair Professional School blown her mind. Mind blowing.
Beyond the ambience, the management says Lush Hair Professional School parades instructors and the required faculty to create a most rewarding learning experience for aspiring hairstylists.
When you graduate, we will not just say, bye-bye, we will give you hair dryer, we will give you hair straightener. You see, she's saying, because it's more than what I just even said.
And also, not just that, the salon support also, if you've not even, if you are not a salon owner yet and you want to open your salon, just reach out to us at the academy. We support our students.
Our curriculum is actually robust, whereby all the things, all the rudiment in hair making is what we actually teach all our students, and that makes us stand out.
The shift from Lush Hair Academy to Lush Hair Professional School drives home their quest to keep empowering hairstylists one strand at a time.
It's now time for business news with Laddie Williams.
Thanks, Ayo. In business news, the Nigerian Exchange Group was busy this week with the listing of investment company VFD Group on the exchange. The VFD Group is a proprietary investment focus, meaning it invests in target companies for direct market gain, like investment banks who invest on behalf of others. According to the management of the Nigerian Exchange Limited, listing on the exchange is not an easy task. We commend VFD Group for their patience. Take a listen.
I'm delighted to welcome the VFD Group to the main board of the Nigerian Exchange Limited on the occasion of his listing as a quoted company on Africa's second largest exchange. We are targeting the first, inshallah. The listing opens up access to the deeper levels of financing available on the Nigerian exchange and will give the VFD Group greater visibility in Nigeria and globally.
Process of listing on the exchange is not an easy process. It can be quite arduous and quite demanding. And we're extremely grateful that they stuck through the process throughout and really demonstrated this, I think, opportunity to us, that they're strong partners, strong supporters of the exchange, and we're very, very grateful for that. We're very delighted. People ask me all the time, they say, well, you know, there are not a lot of tech companies on the exchange. Now, whilst VFD, as we'll find out, is not just a tech company, it's more than tech. But as I look at all the listed companies on the exchange today, they're probably the closest to what you would call fintech on the exchange. And I think it really represents a big day for us.
Meanwhile, in the trading week ended Friday, October 6, 2023, Nigeria's equities market rose by 0.11% as investors bought banking and consumer goods stocks. In the latest market update, there was a significant surge in trading activity as a total turnover of 2.41 billion shares, valued at 22.11 billion naira, changed hands in 27,965 deals. To the sectoral performance, banking closed the week up 1.43%, consumer goods 0.17%, while industrial goods was down 1.38%. Also insurance was down 3.11%. FTN cocoa processors topped the gainers counter for the week, up 19.21%, while consolidated Hallmark Insurance PLC topped the losers counter, down 19.05%. And it's also positive sentiment seen the unlisted equities market. The NASD OTC index and the market value appreciated by 0.48% to end the week. The total volume traded in the week was 12.67 million units, leading to a 386.18% increase in NASD trade volume. There was also an 86.06% increase in the total value traded during the week, as NASD investors traded a total of 55.63 million naira. Central Securities Clearance System PLC led the top gainers for the week, while Food Concepts PLC led the losers counter for the week as it topped trades by volume due to sell pressure. Niger has cut its planned spending for 2023 by 40% as international sanctions imposed after the military took power in July coup further hobbled the economy in one of the world's poorest countries. In a televised statement today, the junta said the year's budget, initially forecast at 3.29 trillion CFA francs, was slashed to 1.98 trillion CFA francs without detailing where the cuts would fall. Soldiers from the Presidential Guard detained President Mohamed Bazoum on July 26 and have set up a transitional government, one of a series of recent coups in West Africa's Sahel region. Niger, an arid country on the southern fringe of the Sahara Desert, is the world's seventh biggest producer of uranium, the radioactive metal widely used for nuclear energy and treating cancer. And that's it from me on Business News. Back to Ayo with the rest of News at 10.
Many thanks, Ladi. More feathers have been added to the cap of Channels Television as the station has won 2 awards at the just concluded Startup South Conference in Port Harcourt, the River State capital. Startup South is an advocacy organization comprising a community of founders who are attempting to build high-skill ventures in the south-south and southeastern part of the country. The multiple award-winning station won the award as the best national television in the coverage of startups. One of its programs, The Beam, also won the award as the best show on startup and technology.
After 2 days of intense discussions on business development and growth, the 8th edition of the Startup South Conference in Port Harcourt, the River State capital, is climaxing with this awards night. Startup South is an advocacy organization comprising a community of founders and young CEOs who are bracing the hurdles to build high-scale ventures in the South-South and southeastern parts of the country.
A round of applause for Onitsha Twitter community.
Their target is to be able to grow a home-based system that can finance startups, just as they are easily found in places like Lagos in the southwest.
What we basically do is to work with stakeholders that cuts across hubs, government, just name them, international foundations, to basically work to provide conducive environment and opportunities for people that are interested in building high-scale businesses, leveraging technology and innovation.
The convener says over 70 sessions were held in the past 48 hours, and this moment is to recognize the best among equals for their contributions to the startup ethos. 23 categories of awards are up for grabs, and Channels Television featured prominently in 2 categories which it clinched.
The next category is Best Startup Coverage TV.
First is the Best Startup Coverage Television Station National.
And the winner is Channels Television. A round of applause for Channels TV, please.
And the second award is picked by The Beam as the Best Startup and Technology Show on TV in 2023.
A round of applause for Channels TV, please. Channels TV. Beautiful, beautiful.
Both awards are received on behalf of the company by the team lead, Channels Television, Port Harcourt Station.
It is another source of inspiration to say what you are doing, people are watching, and then you're doing great, people are appreciating. We won 2 awards this night, the Best Startup Coverage for National Television, and then the Best Startup and Technology Show, that is The Beam, still for Channels Television. It's a good thing. I think we won the highest number of awards. Channels Television is known for the best. It has never dropped the ball, and we will not drop the ball.
The awards are further testaments to Channels Television's unwavering vision to blazon the trail in broadcasting.
Some people can now.
Let's head down to the nation's capital of Abuja, where Victoria Longjong is standing by to give us the very latest on sports news.
Thank you, Ayo. Welcome to Sports News. Max Verstappen has sealed a 3rd successive Formula One championship by finishing 2nd behind Oscar Piastri in the Qatar Grand Prix sprint on Saturday. Verstappen's triumph was confirmed when his Red Bull teammate and nearest challenger Sergio Perez crashed out on lap 11, sealing one of the most impressive and dominant seasons in Formula One history. Verstappen is the first driver to clinch a title in a sprint event, the short-form race introduced in 2021, and does so with 6 Grand Prix in the season still to go. The Dutchman joins some of the sport's most famous names on 3 titles, including Ayrton Senna, Niki Lauda, and Jackie Stewart.
It's been an incredible year, a lot of great races, and yeah, of course, super proud, but also super proud, of the job of the team. It's just been so enjoyable to be part of that group of people, and yeah, to be a 3-time world champion is just incredible.
And in the Nigeria Premier Football League, Bendel Insurance have kick-started their campaign with a 2-0 win over Shooting Stars at the Samuel Ogbemudia Stadium in Benin City, Edo State. Ibrahim Mustafa scored the only goal as full-time champions. Kano Pillars edged past Northwest rivals Katsina United 1-0 at the Sani Abacha Stadium in Kano. Doma United defeated Bayelsa United 2-0 at the Pantami Stadium in Gombe. Andrew Majesila and Charles Tewa got on the score sheet to help Doma United to their first victory. And in the English Premier League, Scott McTominay scored 2 late goals as Manchester United came from behind to snatch a dramatic victory over Brentford at the Old Trafford. Tottenham Hotspur maintained their unbeaten record as a narrow win at Luton took them top of the table. Raheem Sterling inspired Chelsea to an impressive comeback win at Burnley. Everton ended their home misery by brushing aside AFC Bournemouth to collect their first victory at Goodison Park. Bottom side Sheffield United's search for a first win of the season continued as Tom Kearney's strike helped Fulham to victory. And Manchester City's manager Pep Guardiola has said that Arsenal will be a long-term Premier League title contenders before the two sides meet in the top flight at the Emirates Stadium on Sunday. Arsenal, who finished second behind Manchester City last season, are unbeaten in the league this season. Manchester City lost to Wolverhampton Wanderers last weekend, but are 1 point ahead of the Gunners. And Arsenal's boss, Mikel Arteta, has admitted that the Gunners can take confidence from their Community Shield win over Manchester City as they face the Premier League champions on Sunday. Arsenal have not beaten Manchester City in the league since 2015, but Arteta said their August victory on penalties in the Community Shield, the annual curtain raiser to the season, had given his team belief. Arteta hinted that England forward Bukayo Saka is in contention to play despite being forced off during the midweek 2-1 loss at Racing Club Lens in the Champions League. And in tennis, world number 2 Carlos Alcaraz has settled in quickly to his maiden Shanghai campaign after he overcame Gregoire Barres 6-2, 7-5 at the ATP Masters 1000 event. Alcaraz stayed the more consistent at key moments to claim a 1-hour 42-minute triumph against Barres. The Spaniard will take on Britain's Daniel Evans or Kazakhstan's Mikhail Kukshin at the third round as he chases his third Masters 1000 crown of the year. And Daniil Medvedev has outclassed Christian Garin for a 6-3, 6-3 win to kickstart his campaign at the Shanghai Masters. A display packed a trademark defensive news and a refusal to miss proved too much for Garin as Medvedev comfortably advanced, having converted 5 of 9 break points he earned at the ATP Masters 1000 event. With his 92-minute victory, Medvedev became the second player to notch 60-tour level wins this season after Carlos Alcaraz. And acted on Spark News is back to Yoyo Tunde.
Many thanks, Victoria. Israel's health ministry has given updated numbers to Israeli media of the victims of Hamas's unprecedented surprise attack early today that saw hundreds of rockets hit Israel from Gaza. The death toll is now reported to be at least 150 people in Israel. According to officials, over 200 people have been killed in retaliatory Israeli attacks in the Gaza Strip. In the aftermath, over 1,000 people are being treated in Israeli hospitals, with at least one Israeli woman killed by intense rocket fire from the Gaza Strip. Now, in a swift reaction, the Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu declared, "We are at war, not an operation, not an escalation or war." And he vowed severe retaliation after ordering an extensive mobilization of Israeli army reserves, warning the enemy will pay an unprecedented price in the end. Meanwhile, the UK Prime Minister, Rishi Sunak, has also been responding to the unfolding situation and expressed shock following the attacks, saying Israel has an absolute right to defend itself. And the main news again. The National Emergency Management Agency today warned states on the banks of the rivers Niger and Benue to activate emergency response immediately to avert disaster following a rapid release of water from the Lagdo Dam in the Republic of Cameroon. And a day after vowing not to drop his forgery allegation against the president, PDP presidential candidate Atiku Abubakar has applied to file fresh evidence in the case at the Supreme Court. And that's the news at 10 tonight. Many thanks for watching. I'm Osun State. To have a good night.
This week on Dateline Abuja, we went on a tour of impound lots run by the Directorate of Road Traffic Services, or DRTS as they're fondly called. And though we weren't allowed to record the court proceedings, we came across traffic offenders facing one of 4 judges who preside over mobile courts that try road traffic offenders. We'll show you more in our focus on the FCT. Our guest